was another win for the GR Corolla. 9 events, 9 podiums, 8 of them being first places. But since I started this channel, all you've heard me do is talk about how much I love this car and how great it is. I think it's time that we get into the 10 things I hate about the GR Corolla. So the first thing that I hate about this is this trunk. So I have the key in my pocket, the car is locked, and I don't know how many times I've come up to this freaking thing, whether it's been getting groceries or when I have my track bag and stuff, and I go to hit it and it doesn't open up. It opened up.
Dude, you know it's got 2 buttons, right?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've never seen those 2 buttons before. I must have accidentally hit it this time.
Yeah, that one locks and unlocks the car. The other one opens it.
Dude, you have no idea how many times I've tried to open this trunk and that has not worked, and I've gotten so freaking pissed. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it every time.
All right. On to the next one. All right, so this one here isn't so much a thing that's bad about the car, but it changes all the other stuff I've had from all of my other cars. So when I reach up here to unlock this, it opens. But when you want to lock it again, on all the Fords, it's a button back here, or you touch the inside of the handle. Up here, it's at the front of the handle. I don't know why that annoys me. I'm just not used to it, but it just annoys me because I always, after I get out of the Mustang or after I get out of the Raptor, the first thing I do is this. And then somebody always says, "Did you lock the Corolla?" I thought I did, but it's up here. It's silly, but I hate it. Another thing that I hate about this car is this spoiler. This right here is a basic spoiler off of the hatchback Corolla. If you're gonna make a sports model, I shouldn't have to buy the top of the line to be able to get a new spoiler. Make something that's a little bit nicer, a little bit more aggressive, and then with the top of the line GR Corolla, if you want to make something wilder, then that's what you do. That'd be like if you bought a Mustang Performance Pack and you get a standard spoiler until you get the GT500. Why is it performance if you're not going to do this? I don't know. I just hate it every time I pull up next to somebody that's in an XSE and they got the exact same spoiler as I do. I'm not trying to be that bitch, but I did that bitch. Another thing that I hate about this car that I really didn't think I would have a problem with is the shifter. So the majority of the racing that I do with this, I would say 99.9% of all racing that I do with this vehicle is in the dirt. So I'm not really shifting too much. I go from a 1 to a 2, and occasionally I have to go back down to a 1. So I thought it was great. I loved it, and I saw some people talking about how they got the short throw shifter and it changed everything. And I didn't feel it was necessary until I took this out onto the track at NOLA. When you're out there doing actual track racing on pavement, this feels like the throws are way too long. When you're trying to get up through the gears and back down through the gears, it just seemed like it took an eternity. I know that it really didn't, but it feels a lot longer when you're going a lot faster trying to get through those shifts. So I'm not a huge fan of this. I would suggest if you're gonna do any kind of track time with this, you get a short throw for this. Another thing that I hate about this car, which I know it's a safety feature, this is what I hate. This chime. And it gets worse. It gets worse. It just keeps getting worse. And normally, we're just moving it around the pits, so it doesn't even really matter. But that is just so annoying that I can't freaking stand it. Next thing that I hate. The interface here works seamlessly, I would say 90% of the time. I'm able to have my Apple CarPlay here, no worries whatsoever. However, occasionally it'll just drop the link and you can't connect it back, especially once you get moving. It takes forever for you to get your phone linked back together with this. I've been okay the last few days. I normally experience on longer trips, which is every single time that we drive this thing to Austin for a track day, this drops at least once or twice during that ride. Oh, and as a secondary to all this charging pad right here, your phone has to be in there just perfectly for this to work. And I don't like the positioning of it. So first of all, my phone doesn't fill this entire area. So if it's not all the way over here to the side, it's not gonna charge it. And as you're driving, as you can see, this is gonna slide around quite a bit. And for this to work, you also have to push this button here on. Another thing is it is right behind the switches for your heated seats. So you go to slide this thing in here, guess what you're doing? You're switching these bitches to high and you're frying your ass off. So Toyota, you could have thought about better positioning and a setup here for your phone charger. Another thing that I hate here with an absolute passion is the adjustability here of your gauges. So if we look here, we have our G meter over here, we also have our miles per gallon over here, and then we have our tach here in the center. So first off, you can't see how fast this car is. I'd kind of like to see a speedometer to know, hey, when is this thing gonna stop? I don't know what the top speed is of this vehicle. I have not found it yet. I don't even know where it's gonna cut out. But my biggest problem is here with the selectable gauges. On the steering wheel here, you can go through the gauges that you actually want up here. So if I want, I can hold the OK button here. It allows me to go right or left to select what shows up on these. I like to try and have my tire pressures up here when I'm on the track on one side, and then on the other side, I'll try and I'll have where the majority of my power is going. So that's how I have those lined up. Things like that, I like to have lined up with one another. The problem happens, we select these gauges, we hit OK, and we leave them. Now, here on the steering wheel, we can select through different screens, so now we can see what's going on for each one of these. But for some reason, this will always reset to one of these where it's always double the fuel range on both of these. I don't know if it happens when I turn off the vehicle. I don't know what causes it to do that, but it's a pain in the penis hole. And I don't know why it keeps resetting. Happens every time I hop in this car. It's annoying. And then finally, my biggest pet peeve with this vehicle stems around the pedals. So Toyota lets you know in general that these are not set up for good heel toe. So they have an auto rev match. However, that button is down here past my knee, and you have to push that every time you hop in the car. So that isn't fun, but it's not the biggest nuisance in the world. But the auto rev match doesn't always work. Sometimes Ethan will just be driving this car around, cruising it in general, and the rev match will not work. I haven't experienced it when I was driving, but I have been passenger when he has done it, and it hasn't worked for him. So I don't know what causes it to sometimes intermittently not work, but I know that can be a bit annoying for a driver, especially for him. I know that's one of his biggest pet peeves. But for my biggest thing, where it stems around the pedals, and everybody tells me I'm just being a little anal when it comes to this. You hear that? That's just me rolling my foot off the clutch. It sounds like it's cheap. Like none of the other pedals do that. None of them have that weird flick to it. This one, it just sounds like it's loose. And I absolutely hate that. I don't know. Guess we're gonna have to sell the car. Stupid pedals. All right, there you have it. Those are the 10 things that I hate about my GR Corolla. Could it be worse? Yes. Could this car be a little bit better? Yeah, but there's not a whole lot that you could fix on this, and most of the stuff that I dislike about it are tiny little things that most people wouldn't even care about. But, I mean, when you're in this car the majority of your life, it starts to add up. Make sure that you guys go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. It helps the channel out a lot. Hit that subscribe button and hit those bell notifications so you don't miss anything else that's coming up for me here on this channel. We got a race coming up with the Mustang. We have some more rallycross stuff that we're going to be doing with this, and by the end of the year, we're going to start building this thing up into next year's rally car. Until the next one, peace.